thing I remember is waking up and all I could move was my thumb. And I don't know who said it, I just heard something, somebody said, you're paralyzed. My name's Derrick Sellhorst. I'm from Maria Stein, Ohio. I currently live in Troy, Ohio. Um, I'm a truck driver. I transport hogs. So we pick up hogs from Dark and Mercer County, Ohio, and we bring them down to Louisville, Kentucky. I wake up about 3 in the morning, get to the farm about 4, get the truck started and checked out, and we start loading about 4:30, and then head to Louisville.
We had just returned from a trip from camping. I was headed into my office, had kept calling him, kept going to voicemail. I knew something was wrong, something wasn't right. My gut was telling me. And then I heard on the radio that there was an accident at 49 and I-70 and that there was pigs all over the interstate. And at that moment, I knew it was Derrick.
I don't remember going to work that morning. I don't remember, getting a truck filled up with fuel, putting shavings in the trailer, going to the farm to load. They said I went to a fuel stop and got some coffee. I don't remember nothing. And then, like I said, I woke up in the hospital and everything was just numb and tingling from the neck down. They told me that I, hit an overpass, the pillars head on about probably 50 mile an hour.
When we get a trauma alert on our pager, we're already, thinking about potential injuries. Guy found down outside his semi-truck, heavy front end damage. I'm concerned about, does he have a head bleed? Does he have rib fractures? Is there any sort of spinal cord injury, especially when we knew he wasn't able to move his legs? So when they come into our trauma bay, it's pretty protocolized. We start with our primary survey. We make sure we rule out any life-threatening injuries right away. We secure his airway if we needed to. Luckily, Derrick was breathing on his own. We move on to our secondary survey where we kind of do a head-to-toe exam to kind of find any other injuries that are associated with his trauma. Derrick was unable to move his lower extremities, but he had feeling still. And his upper extremities were weak, but he also had feeling and sensation in his upper extremities. So my initial thought was a spinal cord injury. I was very concerned about that. We got the neurosurgery team on board pretty quickly.
We got a emergent MRI of the cervical spine that will give us better imaging of the soft tissue such as spinal cord itself. Looking at all the imaging with the fracture, the spinal cord, there was some swelling with the spinal cord and compression of the spinal cord with the displacement of the cervical vertebra. In conjunction with his weakness, we took him to the OR the main goal is to decompress the spinal cord. The most important thing after these surgeries, immediately after, we want to make sure he's at least stable from where he was before surgery. It's a long process for patients to heal from an injury like this. It usually takes months, 3 to 6 months before we can say this is as good as somebody can be. The younger the person is, the more likely they're going to get closer back to their normal function. In spinal cord injury patients, my opinion is that rehab is just as important as the initial surgery to stabilize and decompress the spinal cord, and maybe even more important because the surgery itself is very quick, a few hours and we're done, but the rehab process can be grueling for the patient, and it teaches them again teaches their spinal cord to repair itself and get the best outcome possible.
I about gave up, and Heidi's like, you gotta keep going, Derrick. You gotta keep going. You got this. And I just had my mind made up from hearing her say that all right, let's do this. And I remember taking my first step. I had to sit back down. The second day, I think I took 2 or 3 steps, and then I just progressed from there. I remember waking up and I was so happy that my right side started to come back from here down.
I think one of the biggest milestones that I remember is being at Rio, like he said, and we didn't think that he was going to get movement back on that left side. We thought it was gone because he could not move anything. And then we were lounging, and he said, "Heidi, look at my toe." And it started to move, his big toe. And I think the excitement from both of us just for that, I mean, to somebody else that's minor, you know, but to us it was huge.
I could move my big toe, and I was so happy because I thought I lost everything on my left side. Well, then everything started coming back on my left side. I'm way better than I ever thought I would be. Yeah, everybody says I'm one lucky man. You know, I should have never made it out of that accident, but I'm here for a reason, and we'll make the best of it.